Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 14 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
And I'm Weston Pugh. And we are here today to talk to you about real estate, but we're going to take a little change. And what we want to do is talk to you about the second segment in Befores and After.
Yep.
We've got Alex Dahlgren that came on set, and we got to interview him. Alex is a wonderful client of ours who has done new construction. He's finished houses out for people. He's excellent with the entire fit and finish and that goal that you're going to want with the home. He's really good at listing. So,
yeah, one of the things that I really appreciate about Alex is not only does he understand color and the light, but he understands the scale of of how it all fits together, and really just kind of knows how to pull the end product together. And he doesn't stop just with the house. He is great with what furniture do you pick, and when you listen to him, I think the big thing in listening to him is how his life experiences go into what he does.
Yep. So what we did was we brought him in, like I said, and he brought in examples of work that he's done. So these are homes that he's built from the ground up. These are renovation projects, and they're all across the country.
Yep.
So why don't you guys sit back, relax, and let's listen to Alex talk about his passion. I've got Alex Dahlgren with the Ancon Group here today, and we're going to do a little bit of talking about what's trendy and what's classic and what makes those up. Alex, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
Well, you have done a lot of homework and helped us put together some great images and examples of work that you've done and the elements that you find make these classic designs. Alex, tell us a little bit about how you got involved with design and architecture.
I have been in love with houses since I was a little boy. The first and greatest gift that I ever received was a 36-inch wide roll of butcher paper, and I immediately lay it out on the garage floor, and with a 12-inch ruler started drawing houses with a 1 to 12 scale.
So with crayons or with actual pencils?
Number 2 pencils.
Number 2, very good.
Number 2 pencils. You can erase those.
That's good. Good. Well, your work, we've helped with the sale of some of your product. You've got beautiful houses. I believe Royal, you've done Frisco, Plano. I know that you've done out of the States. I know you've done some mountain homes. So
Colorado, Houston, California.
You've got a great book of business, and I want to thank again for sharing it with us. One of the first things that you brought up when talking about style was the use of metals. And earlier we were talking about how availability was new because of the importance of this showing up in today's trends. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things about trends is that it's possible to follow them. However, I think it's more important to look at those trends and look at what it does in terms of making additional materials available. So, for instance, with metals, people primarily think of them in use as building hardware.
Okay.
Cabinet pulls, knobs, door levers, plumbing fixtures, lighting fixtures, tiles, any number of different things. And as we have gone through time, we initially started out with materials that were simply chrome. Then they began, and chrome is actually added to brass fauceting. So first you had brass, then you had chrome. Then they started adding additional things, and now pretty much any finish is available.
There are so many, even rose gold. I've seen rose gold out a little bit.
It goes everywhere. And the thing that you want to be careful of when you look at these finishes is look not only at their durability, but how do they work day to day? So for instance, the brushed gold finishes that you see in a lot of luxury photographs right now, they look amazing when you put them in. But if you do not keep them waxed, you must wipe the water off of them every time you use them. So when you think about trendy materials, also think about, what do I have to do to live with them?
That is, you have to be practical when you're using these products. Otherwise, they just become more of a problem and they just don't have that finish at the end that you were hoping for.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If we look at the first example that I brought for you, this is
beautiful.
This speaks to a number of trends. The wall treatments are an industrial material which is manufactured to match the look and the feel of concrete. However, this was originally made for the tops of laboratory tables. So it's impervious to water, rust staining, fire. You can scratch this with a wood chisel and not harm the surface whatsoever. That's on the floors and on the walls. But when we look at how metals are used, all of the materials in there that were fauceting and hardware are either, the fauceting is all a brushed gold, the hardware is a polished chrome on the cabinetry. The cabinetry is a high gloss lacquer. But then what brings everything to life is the mixture of glass and tiles with 24 karat gold leaf mosaic.
I think you've got a closer picture of that.
The mosaic here, you can see the various components, and the gold leaf is applied to the backside of glass. So this was designed, installed on mesh on the backside, then it's created in enormous pieces that fit into the area for which it was designed.
That's
so
amazing.
then they ship it in a big wooden crate, you install it on the wall, and there you are.
Well, I don't think I would, but I think you could definitely figure out how to do that. That's amazing. And, you know, I love the fact that what you talked about was it's a product that is sleek and looks so classy and amazing, and that it's something that's almost indestructible. I love that.
I think of this as permanent wallpaper. When you travel and you look at the beautiful ceilings in Europe from the Renaissance, they are, many of them painted, but the ones that were meant to last forever are all done in colored mosaic.
Yeah.
So this is working in that same vein in the sense that you get the depth and pattern that you would get with wallpaper, but it's incredibly durable.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Let's take a look at the other picture that you have that has to do with some of the metals. I think it's the third one.
The next photograph that you're going to look here is a mixture of a antique gold leaf on the mirror. I wish it showed better in this photo, but these walls are metallic graphite grass cloth. So you can bring a very contemporary element in and mix it with some of these more traditional pieces and this beautiful antique rug. Then add in a contemporary art piece that again echoes the warm sort of grays that are in the room. And that's what allows that mirror to really shine. It doesn't show in this photograph, but there are beautiful living brass bases on that table. Living brass is an unlacquered brass, so it ages with time. So that's how you can bring those various metal elements in. And again, that room's going to look good for years and years and years.
I love the juxtaposition that you had on that one. That really, I felt like with that, even the chandelier, adding all that luminous light that you got on that, you did a wonderful job on that one.
Well, there's a little tiny bit of sparkle from that metallic graphite that's on the wall. Then you echo it with the crystal in the chandelier. Oftentimes you'll see crystal chandeliers used in front of light colored walls and they just sparkle a little bit. But if you put them in front of a dark wall or something that has an opposite texture, so grass cloth is very rough and crystal is very smooth, they both become more important when you mix them together.
You just learned something, folks. You heard it here first. Thank you very much for that. I love that.
You're quite welcome.
Let's take a look at your fourth picture that you brought in for us, Alex. Oh, that
This
looks like a hotel.
is a guest room in a home that I did 7 years ago. So you can use materials that will carry forward. This is all a metallic gold that's on top of a black Mylar wallpaper.
Wow.
So this looks as current today as when it was done back then. And it's because it is a very clean geometric shape.
Yeah.
All of these are classic forms that you've seen for years and years. There's nothing trendy about the bedding, the lighting, the wallpaper, but by using them properly, you can see that trend come back.
Well, I love this. I mean, I love the metals in it, but I also love the fact that the bed is such a strong focal point, and yet it doesn't get lost on that wallpaper. I mean,
It's a bedroom,
kudos.
so it's completely appropriate that the bed should be sort of the crowning thing in there.
You nailed it. And I will say black plantation shutters is a stretch, but I'm loving it. And you'll learn a little bit more about color here in one of the next sections. Let's take a look at your final one about metals. This is amazing.
This is a 24 karat gold leaf niche, which was created to house a piece that the clients had purchased in their travels. You'll notice that there is a polished marble shelf, the gold leaf on the backing, a smooth wall, and a rusticated stone wall with a cut stone lintel mixed with a wood floor. So you can, again, you're using metallics, which are a current trend, and mixing them together with counter materials so that the whole thing is a whole lot richer. And that the gold leaf, you're really getting all the bang out of it by putting it against something that is an opposite.
I couldn't agree more with that. And I love the fact that in this image that you actually see what looks like Texas limestone as well in the foreground.
This is actually a home that I did in Austin.
Okay, very well then. I guess that correctly. My time spent in San Antonio has paid off, and I love that, and I think that would register well with Texas buyers as anything.
And again, this is a genuinely classic look. Lots of times when someone says, "Oh, it's a classic style," that means it's a reproduction of something.
Okay.
This uses classic tenets of design by mixing together rough and smooth, light and dark, shiny and dull.
Yep.
You're able to create something that's going to be beautiful forever.
Oh, I love it. You nailed it. That kind of leads us into the next section, which is going to be the use of dark colors. And I know that so often today we're seeing people, restaurants, and we're also seeing some of the hotel lobbies use these really wonderful dark colors that are not just dark blues and dark grays, but we're actually going into the blacker shades. And I love them. I'm a sucker for them. I did my office in it, but tell us a little bit about what your take is on the darks.
The reason that I love these sort of dark colors so much is that well, let me back up and say the conventional wisdom is that if you paint a room a light color, the room will seem bigger. In reality, if you could take two 14 by 14 rooms with an 8-foot or 10-foot ceiling, and you painted one of them white and you painted one of them the deepest possible navy blue,
Okay.
when you walk into the navy blue room, you will have no sense of how large or small it is.
Gotcha.
The room will feel limitless, if for want of no better word.
Because you can't figure out where it starts or ends.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And if you had a beautiful wood piece, whether it was grandma's cedar chest or a fine French inlaid commode, and you place it in front of a white wall, it's going to tend to flatten out a bit.
Okay.
If you place it in front of a dark colored wall, it becomes important. Any of your artwork, if you place it on dark walls, the paintings become much more dramatic and much more important.
Now you got me thinking of what I'm going to paint in my house to accent that art.
Well, it's a great way to do it. If we look at the first image, this is actually a high-rise apartment. And so you'll see that on one side, there are floor-to-ceiling windows. This apartment is painted with black walls in one room, and then in the adjacent office, They're a very deep cranberry. And you would think that this seems oppressive, but this is not a large apartment, but it seems like it goes on forever.
That to me looks like a New York penthouse, is what that speaks
And that's
like to me.
actually here in Dallas.
That's here.
And part of the appeal to this apartment are the views of the skyline. So by concentrating not on the walls, but what's going on outside, the walls go away. So the collection of art, statuary, furnishings, and rugs that are in this apartment, they become the stars.
Wow.
And you don't get a sense of where the apartment ends. So when you're sitting in there with beautiful lighting of the artwork or the statuary, the walls go away. They become part of the glass. So other than sitting on a beautiful light-colored piece of furniture on top of a beautifully textured rug, you feel as though you're floating out in space. So it's a really, really magical kind of space.
It really is. And it leads us back to the other one, which is the other one seems more like a house that we would see, more like in Preston Hollow or whatnot. And it's no less dramatic, but the black is completely different in this next image that you brought for
In
us.
the next image, this home is less than a year old.
Okay.
And my clients had purchased it complete. And they wanted, it was the entire interior of the house is all painted one color. It was a new house for them, but we wanted to be able to give it some additional style and elevate it. We simply painted the wall that's on the facing side of the staircase black. This black matches the black that's on the railings, and suddenly the edging of the shape of the edge of the staircase becomes a lot more important, and they have a commissioned painting that's been hung there on the wall. That painting was done to size to fit there to play nicely with those polished chrome benches.
It looks amazing. And I love the fact that that really dark color there makes the gray become its own color, and it gives it another life and another layer.
And if you would look at that painting on I believe all the walls inside this house are amazing gray, which is a color that a lot of builders use as a sort of. Put that painting on top of that wall, on that amazing gray wall, it's nice.
It's nice.
But when you put it on top of this black wall, it almost appears to glow from the inside, like those backlit billboards that you see on the side of the tollway.
Gotcha.
So the painting becomes much more important. And in a case like this that has a 2-story entry hall, it's very hard to do specific special lighting for that painting. So you want to do whatever you can to play it up as much as you can.
Interesting. So far, my takeaway is don't be scared of black.
Absolutely not.
I love it.
Absolutely not. When you think about it, there's nothing, if you think about an outfit, there is nothing more beautiful than an all black outfit with statement jewelry.
Okay.
So
I agree with that.
why not treat your furniture, your paintings, your statuary, your artwork like statement pieces and give them the most beautiful possible background?
I like that. Dress your house stately. I like that. Let's look at this third image that you have. This is a bedroom that I could see myself spending some time in. That is amazing.
This is a bedroom. Again, this bedroom was done 7 years ago.
Wow.
But it is still, it still looks contemporary in the sense of as of today. This client is not afraid of color.
Not at all.
And so what we wanted to do was create something that really played. So this is a custom-made bed that I designed that's my take on a Portuguese wedding bed. It's all made out of walnut. It was made in Montecito, California. It is the sort of architectural important piece in the room. This house is a house that was built in the late 80s. There's nothing of any real architectural interest, but this brings it in. The ceiling has an underpainting of umber with a metallic gold on top and then a terracotta insert. This is a pattern that I designed so that it would really give a sense of the Far East. Then we mix it together with pure white Italian bedding that's lined in purple. There's a Chinese silk bolster that's purple, peach, orange, green, and blue. We carry that forward and put this orange daybed at the foot of the bed. This room in the daytime is happy, and at night it's magic. Before we made the bed, I said, hey, I've got to lay down on this, because I had been laying on the floor looking at the ceiling so that I would understand, okay, what is this ceiling doing? Let's make sure that this doesn't give you a sense of vertigo as some pattern floors will do.
Okay.
It is magical.
Oh, that's good to hear.
It's absolutely magical. And again, it's a very dark color. That particular color is called Urbane Bronze, and it's a Sherwin-Williams paint.
Interesting. I love that. Well, I think that's a great way to segue into the next section about rich color palettes. I am not afraid of color, even though the majority of my house is white. I like it. I just kind of use it color as the filler around the house and leave my walls white. But in this first image that you brought in, you went for the color and you nailed it. That's all I can say. Let's go to the next one real quick. The one with the blue. There we go. That's the one.
So this is a dining room that was in an existing house. They were going to be living here for maybe 18 months. So we didn't want to do a whole lot to the house. But what I did was I took their existing furniture and their existing cabinetry and changed the color. I also brought a trim carpenter in, and we did this paneled wall, then picked a peacock blue and painted the wall that color. This lady is not afraid of color at all. Most of my clients aren't.
You have the best clients. They will go with it.
Yeah, over time they build up a level of trust. I tell them all the time, I'm not going to play Frankenstein with your house. I'm not going to do something that I know doesn't work with your personal style, even if you don't know what your style is. So by bringing that color in, I was able to bring excitement into the room and do something that was temporary. So even though that's very taste specific, and you may hate peacock blue, when it came time to list that house, all I had to do was paint over that wall, and the entire room went back to being neutral.
Yeah.
So they were happy while they were there, and it didn't become that sort of red carpet nightmare that some people have when it's time to sell their house.
No, I think you were the one that told me about petrol blues, and I am such a fan with those. We used one of those on a client's front door, and he said, why didn't I know about this color before? It wasn't quite as peacock, but again, it was because you had introduced me to the family of petrol blues, and this looks to me a little bit like that.
It also provided Florence is this client's favorite city in the world.
Okay.
So there's a large antique reproduction map. And when you look at what colors do in terms of playing their complements together, the colors of that map, if you wanted to make them as warm as possible, needed a blue background.
I can see that. You did a great job. I love the patina on that, and I think that it all works really well. This next image that you brought is probably one of my all-time favorite images.
This is one of my favorite rooms.
Yes.
This is the living room of a large contemporary home that I designed and built 2 years ago. This is a custom sofa from France that is covered in Missoni Italian fabrics. When you look at it, it appears kind of random, but there are actually several different fabrics and a whole bunch of different colors. The cool thing about this is that we worked out multiple layouts. So depending on how the room is being used, what sort of party she's entertaining, these can all be changed. These are classic colors. This room looks very on trend, but this room is going to be beautiful from now on. It introduces a whole lot of trends. You have the rich colors of the draperies. You have the dark color of the window trims, and I'll digress just a moment. to mention that if you want to really pay attention to the view, paint your window trims dark.
Okay.
If you paint them light, you see the frame. If you paint them dark, you see the view.
Interesting.
You will notice, like in commercial high-rise buildings that have those sort of giant bronze windows, when you're inside, you don't see the window frames. But if you see the ones that have the satin brass or satin aluminum
Yeah.
window frames, you see the window frames. So on something like that, where you're trying to really pay attention to the view, you want those dark window frames. The ceilings in this room are 15 feet tall. The draperies in this room go from the floor to the ceiling, and they are in a one-of-a-kind magenta color that was dyed and woven in India specifically for this job.
It's amazing. The entire room, floor to ceiling, literally floor to ceiling, is amazing. I remember when you were getting those coffee tables. Is that the best description, or are they actually sculptures? I was blown away and really excited to get to see what those.
Well, they
look
play
like.
together in both ways. And one of the other things that's great about this is, let's say that next year the trend becomes, I don't know, wicker.
Okay.
You know,
God
and
forbid.
everybody's got to have wicker.
God forbid.
All right, well, you can introduce little bits of that. Put in use it in accessories, use it in something that's easy to change out, but keep everything else classic.
Your core is definitely very prevalent in there. I love it. I love it. And if we transition now from a very high-end modern look, and we can kind of bring it into like maybe the more natural elements that we see that really kind of ground rooms.
The room that we just looked at isn't for everybody, although everybody that goes in there feels good when they see it, but they might be afraid to make that sort of commitment.
I can see that.
If you want something that you're absolutely going to feel comfortable with, bring natural elements together that you're accustomed to. So if you look at the first picture and you think about opposites.
Okay.
So what's in nature? Wood and rocks.
Okay.
So we have a rusticated stone fireplace. This fireplace previously had been clad in 24 by 24 cream colored porcelain tiles. So we took all of those down. It also had big white bookcases on either side. Those bookcases were too wide, which made the fireplace look too thin. So we decreased the width of those and replaced them with these mahogany cases. They're also lit from the front so that a series of fairly contemporary accessories could be placed in them. So you have those playing against the smooth satin finish of the mahogany against the rough finish of the stone. The floors are wood and they are in a grayed brown, but the bookcases are very red. Yeah. So you want to mix these opposites together and do them with a judicious hand, and you will find that it becomes rich and timeless. One of the things that I try to avoid is matching things.
Okay.
You don't want something to look like a motel.
I would agree with that.
Avoid looking like a drive-in bank if you're landscaping, and avoid looking like a motel if you're doing interiors.
Well, I have to say that look to me is effortless and, dare I say, masculine. I really can see myself sitting in there, whether it's sunny or cloudy. I would enjoy that room.
Well, it's great that you mentioned the masculine part of this room. If you were to pull back, this room has a very large rug that looks as though it was done in crewel work.
Okay.
So we can take this and mix it together with something that's much more feminine. The rug is in pale blues and pinks and golds. Really? And so you can put all those things together. And again, you're building up layers of color and texture that play well with each other. And you end up with rooms that don't look like anybody else's. You know, you may glance at those accessories in that picture and think, well, they're just pretty things on a shelf. Every one of those relates in some way to the people that live in that house.
I love that. And that speaks to a house. And I think that when people have that house that they really feel is their home and reflects who they are, they're just that much happier and love that house.
You need to walk through your house and and really feel like that's where you want to be.
I agree.
You should be happy to come back from vacation
True.
because your home should be the most beautiful and comfortable place that you ever stay.
Well, Alex, we have one last picture to take a look at. And this one, that is an amazing shot.
This is, this photo file is called Stairway to Heaven. And the reason that I included this one is that it includes all of the trends. So in this one, we have the use of metallics because we have oil rub bronze door hardware. We have custom copper light fixtures that are used as sconces on the wall. We have the rusticated stone. We have concrete that is used on the floor of the landings, which you walk down as you come from the front door and work your way all the way through the house to the living room. The living room wood floors are 8-inch wide planks. We have smooth, dark walls. We have a juxtaposition of smooth and rough furniture. We have contemporary pieces. There are antique urns. There is an Art Deco French side table. The ceiling is a high gloss finish on top of redwood. So you take all these natural materials and you mix them together, and if you do it properly, it becomes incredibly rich. It also is one of those things that changes in a huge way with lighting.
Yeah.
So in the daytime, this is one space. At nighttime, it's completely different.
Yeah, I bet that is glamorous at night.
Yeah, so, and that's, your house should change with you through the day.
I would agree with that. I love the fact that I feel like these homes, we're seeing snapshots and not the full 24-hour cycle, but I feel like each one of these rooms would have a different flavor in the morning to the evening and in the middle of the day as well.
Absolutely.
Well, Alex, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and to share with us some of the most amazing home trends that are classic and can stand the test of time.
It's been my pleasure, Weston.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, sir. We hope you enjoyed that segment with Alex Dahlgren. Alex, if we're watching, thank you so much. We appreciate everything that you do and all the insight that you shared with us.
Yep. And we'd like to thank you for tuning in with us today. Go follow us on our Facebook page, like it if you would. You will begin to see a lot of the things that are going on in the Dallas-Fort Worth area during the holiday season this year. Go to our Instagram and follow us there. You can find pictures of lots of the homes that we have for sale, lots of the stuff that we do on a daily basis. And then you can also visit our website at updikepugh.com, where you can search MLS. You can sign up for new listings to be emailed to you directly. It's really a great resource. And then Home Price FYI, where you can go get the value of your home instantly. So I think if there's there's only one other way to do, and that's call us. So reach out to us with a text or a phone call. We'd be happy to talk to you.
Y'all have a great day and tune in next week, same time.
Thank you.